Hello, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Sheridan at SherGetsFit on Instagram, and today we will be talking about all things birth control. A little bit of background. I got off of the pill, hormonal birth control, about 3 years ago. I was actually in Hawaii for Christmas break in 2018 and basically forgot to bring my pill. I was there for 2 weeks, was kind of going through a rocky point in my relationship, and I just said, you know what, screw it. I'm not sexually active anyways, and I forgot it. This is a great time to just stop taking birth control. It was not on a whim that I just decided to stop taking my pill. I had also recently started therapy. I was going through a very, very rough time mentally and emotionally, and basically one of the things that I figured out through research and talking to my therapist and all of this stuff was to figure out what's really wrong with my head. I need to get to like a baseline, and birth control is very widely known to mess with your hormones, with your mood, with your mental health. And so getting off birth control was one of the first things I did just to see if it would help my mental health, just so I could kind of approach therapy, approach all of these things with like a good baseline of like, this is how my brain's functioning when I'm not on any kind of medication. Obviously, I know that birth control does help women with certain things, like endometriosis or PCOS. So like, I don't recommend just getting off without talking to your doctor. Like I said, I had talked to my therapist, my doctor, was not sexually active at the time, so getting off birth control was the best choice for me. Within the first 2 weeks of being off the pill, it was literally like the clouds parted and the sunshine came out in my brain. Like, that's the best way I know how to describe it, is just within 2 weeks, I immediately felt so much better. So what I mean by that is that basically before, when I was on birth control, I don't know, it's not that like I was suddenly happy and everything was fine and dandy, but my ability to self-regulate while I was on birth control was very low. My ability to understand what I was feeling was non-existent. I would just be so down, so upset, have no reason why I was upset, not want to be upset, but literally have no control over how I was feeling. When I got off birth control, if I was having a bad day, I was instantly like, oh, I'm having a bad day because of XYZ, and I understand that that's why I'm having a bad day, and I understand that it's okay. Like, just my ability to understand myself, regulate myself, and like just be in control of my emotions was immediately better. So when I say like the sunshine came out, it's not like I was suddenly just, life's great, but I felt just like me again. Like, that's the best way I can describe it. Fast forward to like now, 2021, I started a non-hormonal birth control. It is birth control, it's FDA approved birth control called Natural Cycles. Basically, Natural Cycles is an app that is a fertility tracker. So you input your basal body temperature, which is different than just your normal temperature. It goes all the way out to 2 decimal places. You input your basal body temperature every single morning, right when you wake up, and this algorithm, the FDA approved algorithm, over time as it learns your body, will give you a red day, which signifies you are fertile, you are ovulating, you need to use a condom or abstain from sex, or you have a green day, which means have at it, have fun, you're not fertile, you cannot get pregnant on this day, like your anatomy physically cannot get pregnant because you are not fertile. That's what this app does, which obviously on your red days, it's just like any other day without birth control. You need to use a condom, you need to abstain, you need to protect yourself in some other way. But the nice thing is that I've been on birth control for 3 years and I've just been using condoms. And this app has now given me the freedom to have, now that it has learned me, 2 to 3 weeks of my month where I can be unprotected and I can be confident that I'm not going to get pregnant on accident. So that's kind of like the summary of what we're going to talk about today. We're going to talk about my experience coming off birth control, and then we are also going to talk about my experience using a fertility tracker like Natural Cycles. And then I also posted a question box on TikTok and my Instagram just about everything, so I will also be going through and answering questions. But without further ado, let's start talking about some of the side effects I experienced coming off birth control and if I would recommend getting off birth control, which obviously I would, because I just told you guys all about how much it helped my mental health. But when I came off the pill, as I mentioned, within 2 weeks, my mental health was great. I didn't really start noticing side effects until probably 2 to 3 months in. My period was so late. I didn't have a period for, I think, a month. I think I missed whatever that next month would have been. So that was kind of stressful. Like I said, I was not having sex at the time, so I knew it was impossible that I would be pregnant. But my period did take like a full month of skipped before it came back. My tracking app that I was using before was tracking a 28-day, you know, strict birth control cycle. And I was frequently late, like by about 10 or 11 days, which was kind of freaking me out, that I was like, why am I late every single week? I readjusted my app for like what I was seeing my cycle showing up as, which was closer to like a 35-day cycle. I was actually pretty regular after that. My first 2 periods were a little bit longer. Like I said, I was about a week later than expected, but now, you know, 2 or 3 years later, I'm just on like a 33, 35-day cycle. And now that I've like adjusted that, I'm on time every single time. That is my biggest tip, is don't keep assuming that you're gonna have a strict 28-day cycle, because when you're late, you're gonna freak out and you're gonna be like, why am I late? But you're not late. Your cycle's just readjusting to what it's like naturally supposed to be. 2 or 3 months in, I did start seeing acne. I did get a lot of acne. That lasted me, I would say, 6 months, I would say, of having acne. I still do get some hormonal acne. I don't know if you guys can see this right now, around my chin, when I am on my period. So I just finished my period about a week ago. That's why it's like kind of healing. But I do still experience some chin acne while I'm on my period. Did not experience acne on my period when I was on birth control at all. I didn't really have acne. But I did get really, really bad acne for the first 6 months after coming off. Now, this is my skin. It's great. I just get the zits here and there. Hair loss is probably the biggest symptom that I had that was like really, really hard for me to deal with. It's like just now growing back. I have extensions in because I lost so much hair. So that is one that's like, to me, that was the hardest thing to get through with coming off the pill, was the fact that my hair was thinning and my hair was falling out. I would be washing it in the shower, very gentle, using salon products, you know, not brushing it wet, doing everything you're supposed to do to take care of your hair. And I would still just have like clumps coming out in the shower, just clumps. And not like the 1 or 2 strands that come out, like literal clumps coming out. So that sucked. I will say though, the stress and like self-confidence hit that thinning hair gave me was nothing compared to how much worse my mental health was when I was on the pill. So even with all of that, being off the pill, my mental health was still so much better than it was before. And the hair loss lasted about 8 months, I would say. And then from 8 months on, I was kind of at this like plateau of how thick my hair was. And then now, which is about 2.5-ish years later, I have noticed a lot of new growth. Like every time I go to the salon, my hairstylist is like, look at all these baby hairs coming in. And I'm like, are you sure it's not breakage? And she's like, no, it's new growth because it's happening everywhere. Okay, sorry for that minor disturbance. Thank you, Gibbous. Acne and the hair loss were the biggest 2 side effects that I saw. Yeah, those are all the main side effects. Definitely tough. Now I have absolutely no side effects. My periods, they are heavier and they are slightly more painful. Definitely in the beginning, they were very heavy, very painful, a little bit more regular, but you know, 2.5 years later, my periods are on time every single month. I do get cramps, which sucks. That's something I miss about birth control, is being able to just like bleed for a day and a half and be like having the time of my life. Definitely get some gnarly PMS. I definitely get cramps, but like I said, and like I will say, PMSing and having shit cramps for a week is 100% worth it compared to how much better my mental health is. Like that's, if I could just reiterate anything over and over to you, it's that none of the side effects of having a period, of having to like wear a condom, of having hair loss, acne, none of that can compare to how much better I feel mentally and physically and just like emotionally, just feeling in control of my body, feeling aware of my body, knowing that like everything that's happening inside of me is supposed to be happening. So yeah, it's all worth it. Do not let having a normal period, do not let literally how your body's supposed to function normally deter you from getting off birth control. That being said, if you have really, really painful periods, you should probably go talk to your doctor about that. Like I said, this video is not for everyone. This video is for those people that know that they can come off. I don't want to shit on birth control because I know for so many people it is very helpful. It helps prevent a lot of diseases. Just disclaimer there. Not shitting on birth control, just saying that for me and for a lot of women I know, coming off of it can be the best choice for you and for your mental health. Okay, jumping into now what I do to protect myself. I use an app called Natural Cycles. This is my thermometer. It's a basal body temperature thermometer. So basically how this works, I will show you guys my app. But basically every single morning when you wake up, before getting out of bed, you're gonna take your temperature. So I keep this just next to me on my nightstand. When my alarm goes off in the morning, or if I wake up before my alarm, like it has to be the first awake that you're having. If you get up to go to the bathroom at like 1 a.m. in the middle of the night, that's fine. But like you can't wake up, snooze, and then get up half an hour later and take your temperature. You have to do it at like the first sign of waking from your deep sleep. But I'll pick it up, I'll be laying in bed, throw it under my tongue, press the button, and then I'll input into my app the temperature. But a really cool feature is this actually saves your temperature. So if you do want to snooze, or you're just so tired, or say you accidentally wake up 30 minutes before your alarm and you're gonna go back to sleep, you can take your temperature and then set it back down, go back to sleep, whatever. And when you wake up, the first time you press the button, for like 5 seconds, it'll display the last temperature. So just be ready for that. I will show you guys an example. So 97.6 is my temperature right now. I'm gonna like just set this down and let this turn off, like as if I were snoozing. And then I'll show you guys how you can see what it is. But yeah, 97.6, remember that. Okay, so this thing just turned off. And I'll show you. So if you just press the button once, whoop. See, 97.6, and then it'll reset. So that's how easy it is. Just make sure that if it only does that once, so now it's like trying to take my temperature again. So don't press that button to check your old temperature unless you like have your app open, because it only lasts for a few seconds. But it is cool that if you want to take your temperature and then snooze, that you can still find it after. A few things to consider. You do have to do it right when you wake up, so make sure that that's always next to you. I like to set it on top of my phone at night. You do have to take it relatively the same time every day. I think you can set like a 4-hour window. Mine is between 5 a.m. and 9 a.m. because I usually wake up at 5, but like on weekends or something I'll get up at 7. So it gives you a window. It just has to be at your first wake. So if you're gonna sleep in on the weekend and you still wake up, you know, naturally at 7, make sure you take your temperature at 7 before you sleep in till 9 or 10. Yeah, you just have to be really strict, because once you have woken up, your body will start to heat itself up, and that can throw off the algorithm. Once you have your temperature, you will open up the app. It looks like this, Natural Cycles. So for example, today's a red day. When you first open the app on the new morning, it's gonna pop up with a page like this. You can see this was my temperature this morning, 97.16. So right now I've already gone up half a degree from when I woke up this morning. That's why it's important to take it right when you wake up. But you'll go in, you'll input that temperature. You can also, there's all these different settings you can put in. So if you're sick and you have a fever, you can click sick. If you slept differently, which happens to me a lot, like we just got a puppy, so I'm waking up all hours of the night. If you don't get good sleep, if you have nightmares, if you had really bad insomnia, if you know, you woke up, forgot to take your temperature and snoozed, anything like that where it wasn't you didn't take your temperature at your first wake, you can hit the slept differently thing. There is an option for hungover. If you have had multiple drinks, it's going to affect you. I've had a glass of wine and my temperature has been fine, but if you are drinking, having, you know, 2-3 beers, 2 glasses of wine, taking shots, whatever, definitely hit that hungover button, even if you don't feel hungover, because it's going to affect your body temperature anyways. You can also mark if you're on your period. You can track bleeding or spotting. You can track how heavy it is. You can track if you've had sex. You can track if it was protected or unprotected. There's also an option for an ovulation test. So I have never done an ovulation test. If you do take ovulation tests, it just makes the algorithm more accurate. But then you can say positive or negative if you took a test that day. You can track your cervical mucus and also track your sex drive, any pain that you have, cramps, backaches, sore breasts, headache, and then you can track how you feel. So this is really cool because so today I'm happy, confident, and energetic. I feel great today, but it's really cool to be able to see the trends and kind of start to predict how you will feel during different parts of your cycle. So one question that I got asked was, would you still use fertility tracking if you were not sexually active? 110,000 million % yes. I am so shook that this stuff is not taught in school because I have learned more about myself as a woman and my body using this app than my mom or my health teacher or anyone has ever told me about being a woman. There's 4 different phases of your cycle. I thought it was just bleeding and not bleeding. Turns out there's all these different phases. So right now I'm in my follicular phase. It says the follicular phase is the first phase of your cycle. It starts with your period and ends with ovulation day. It's when your temperature is at its lowest and you have an increase in both estrogen and follicle stimulating hormone. So for me, in the past, during my follicular phase, I'm happy, I'm energetic, I have a high sex drive, I'm calm. I usually feel my best during my follicular phase, which is cool to know that, you know, I know that I'm gonna feel good during this phase. So if I wanna like plan something during this phase, if I wanna plan like a photo shoot or a vacation or, you know, what the heck ever, it's kind of cool. Like I could plan it during this part of my cycle because I know I'm gonna be in a great mood. So a lot of questions are, does this app work right away? Are you protected right away? Like pretty much just how does it work when it gives you red and green days? So like I said, the whole foundation of this app is that every day when you take your temperature, it's going to give you a red day or a green day. So today is a red day. If I was green today, it would say not fertile and everything would be green. If you are green, do whatever the hell you want. When I'm green, I'm having sex with my fiance. We're not using a condom. We're not pulling out. We're doing handstands and shit. I trust this app 100%. When I first started, it freaked me out. I was like, did I just let you do that? Did I really just let you do that? I really hope I'm not pregnant. And I wasn't. And I was like, oh, okay. And then like the next month I wasn't pregnant. And I was like, oh, okay. I've been using this app for about 7 months now. So 7 cycles of my period. I trust it absolutely, completely. All that changes when you first start this, you're gonna be red for pretty much your entire month, which just like if you were not on a fertility tracking app and off birth control, you would use a condom every single day. When you start this app, you're still gonna use a condom every single day. I will show you guys what I looked like when I first started. So back in April, this is April. So you guys can see I'm literally only green for the week of my period, which, you know, you're not gonna have sex. I mean, you can have sex on your period if you want, but there's really only 3 days that I would not be bleeding that I could have unprotected sex. So now fast forward to December and November, I'm green for almost 3 weeks of the month. And then I have about a week and a half that I'm red. Yeah, it sucks that you still have some red days and there's days where you still need to use a condom or abstain from sex, but to be able to have the freedom of 3 weeks every month, do whatever the hell you want and know that you're not gonna have a baby, that's amazing. That being said, if you do not have a fiance, please wear a condom. Please wear a condom, or boyfriend, or girlfriend. Well, if you have a girlfriend, you can do whatever the hell you want. Anyways, if you are not in a committed monogamous relationship, please use a condom. Do whatever the hell you want. Please use a condom because this does not protect you against STDs, okay? Okay? That's all I'm gonna say about that. Also, I forgot to show you guys this, but if you turn your phone sideways, you can see a graph of your temperatures. So, in your follicular phase, which ends with your period, you have low temperatures. And then as soon as you ovulate, your temperature spikes. And then as soon as you have your period, your temperature drops again. And then you ovulate and your temperature spikes. And it's only by about like 1 degree, 1.5 degrees maybe. That's why having a basal body thermometer. You need to use the one that Natural Cycles makes. You can't just use the one you have in your cabinet. But that's why it's so important that it goes out to those 2 decimal places, because you're only fluctuating by 1 degree. But if, as you guys saw in that graph, it's enough. It's a cycle. Okay, so now we're gonna get into some Q&A questions. The first one, did you take birth control for things related to your period? I am nervous I will have terrible cramps without it. So when I started birth control, I did mainly start for protecting myself against sex. I started freshman year of college. That being said, I did have gnarly periods before. I will say now, being 24, I started birth control at 18. My periods now are nothing compared to what they were when I was in high school. When I was in high school, I would throw up from my period almost every single month. I had really bad back pain. Like I would just always be like hunched over, taking Advil, using heat packs, whatever. Really painful periods, like just so much nausea, so much back pain, migraines. Now, being 24, it's kind of crazy because a lot of women that are on birth control thinking of getting off, you know, they've been on it for years. Women's bodies are still changing like well into our late 20s. So if you had really gnarly periods as a teenager, do not assume that you're going to also have really gnarly periods as an adult. So someone asked, what method of birth control were you on? Would you recommend it? I was just on like the pill. I don't even remember what brand it was. If you are a teenager, if you are not in a committed relationship and not, you know, continuously sleeping and waking up at the same day, like if you're in college and you're waking up at different times, you're going out, you're hungover, all this crazy stuff, yes, I would recommend being on the pill. As an adult that is 24 with a job and a fiance, if I were to get pregnant right now, that would be fine. If I was 19 in college, going out, you know, sleeping around, having fun, being hungover, waking up at different times, this app is not going to be reliable for you and you're going to have a lot of red days. Frat boys don't want to wear condoms, okay? They should, but they don't want to. So if you cannot risk getting pregnant, the pill is the best way, I would say, to like keep yourself safe, because it's just something you take and you don't have to think about anything else. This app requires a lot of discipline, a lot of routine. If you can't have that, then yes, I would recommend being on the pill, because having the mental health side effects, like nothing is going to prepare you for having an unplanned pregnancy. So I will say that, okay? I'll say that. Next one, how has it been managing having safe sex? So like I said, when it's a green day, we're doing whatever the heck that we want, okay? We're getting freaky, we're doing whatever we want. We're not using protection, we're not using condoms. We're having a blast, okay? And I'm safe, because when you're green, you are not fertile, you cannot have a baby. On red days, ironically, my red days are usually when I'm the most sex driven. So we just be safe by wearing condoms every single time, not right before, not pulling out, but the second we decide that we want to have sex, we are putting a condom on right then and there. 100% using it correctly, using lube, not double condoming, all the normal tips for how to wear a condom safely. That is what we are doing every single time that we are on a red day. If you fail to wear a condom, if the condom breaks and you are red, then you need to go take Plan B, because you are fertile and you are at risk of having a baby just like you would if you weren't tracking your period at all. Okay, another question. I don't always wake up at the same time. I don't live with my boyfriend. We sleep at different places. Will this affect accuracy? Where you sleep does not matter. When I'm on vacation, I'm bringing this with me. When I'm traveling, I'm bringing it with me. All that matters is that you do take it at the same time roughly every morning. Like I said, you get a window. Mine's 5 a.m. to 9 a.m. All that really matters is that you're taking it at the first time you wake up, and that you're taking it while you're laying down, before you get up. The second you open your eyes, you're grabbing that thermometer and popping it in your mouth. That's all that matters. If you're sleeping at your boyfriend's house, bring it with you, put it next to your nightstand. Make sure he doesn't keep you up all hours of the night. If you're at home, if you wake up at 9 on the weekends and 5 on the work day, that's fine. Just make sure it's within that window and that you're taking it right when you wake up. Another question, does everyone else's libido vary an insane amount through their cycle? Yes, this is really cool, and this is what I've learned through my app, through tracking my mood and through those like learning articles. When you are ovulating, you have a crazy sex drive because you're fertile, and your body's like, put a baby in me, because that's the continuation of the human race. Ironically, it's on your red days, which sucks. So you are going to be the most turned on also when you are the most susceptible to pregnancy. So wear those condoms, people, wear them. On your green days, for me personally, my sex drive is very low, especially when I'm PMSing the week before my period. I am like, do not touch me unless it's to give me a back massage. So that is totally normal. Your hormones are rising and falling all throughout your cycle. And the cool thing about this app is that you can see that and understand and be like, oh, that's why I do not want to be touched today. Or like, oh, that's why I'm literally crazy turned on today. It's normal, it's natural. Okay, and this ties into another question. Did going off birth control give you a higher sex drive? I've lost mine completely since starting birth control. Girl, yes, yes. When I was on birth control, I did not have a sex drive, and it affected past relationships to the point where I was just like, I was never initiating, I was never in the mood. I would say no or turn them down half the time, and then the other half the time I felt bad that I was saying no, and I would just be like, oh, okay, like, just get it over with, but like, I'm not having pleasure from this. Like, I just never wanted to have sex. My sex drive was so low. It's not that I thought, like, there was literally moments where I was like, am I asexual? Like, is this what asexual is? That I just don't like having sex? Like, I was like, but I'm like, I was just so confused. I was like, I don't understand why this isn't something that I'm wanting to do. This isn't something that I'm like initiating. Like, it was weird. It was weird, man. I got off birth control and now, like, I have a sex drive, okay? I do. I have a sex drive. So yeah, it definitely will bring that back. Birth control is known for basically just demolishing your libido. If you think about it, birth control, like, basically works by convincing your body that it's already pregnant. Like, that's like what the hormones do. It's like, hey, you don't need to ovulate because we're already pregnant. And then your period is like having a miscarriage every month. Like, not exactly, but that's like basically what it is. Like, the hormones that is telling your body like, hey, you're fertile, you should get pregnant and continue the human race. Like, that's not there. So like, why would you have a sex drive when your body doesn't think it's even capable of like creating children? You know, like, it makes sense when you think about it. Like, there's like, you have a sex drive to procreate, and if you can't procreate, you're not gonna have a sex drive. So yes, getting off birth control will help that. Last question, how do you come off the pill safely without any side effects? Homegirl, if I knew, would I be wearing extensions because all my hair fell out? No. I would talk to your doctor about that. I have no idea. I'm not an OBGYN. Like I said, all of this stuff that I'm learning is like so new to me. It's stuff that I'm still learning today. I'm sure a year from now I could probably redo this video with hundreds more facts that I've learned. Coming off the pill safely, when I talked to my OBGYN, you can go off the pill at any time. She recommended to just not take my next month. Like I mentioned, I went out of town and didn't bring another pack with me, so I just kind of stopped taking it. She recommended finish out your cycle, have your like placebo week where you're on your period, and then just don't start a new pack. Just start from there. But like I said, talk to your doctor. I don't know if there's a way to do it without any side effects because it's a huge hormonal change to your body. Everyone's gonna be different. Coming off of different types of birth control are gonna be different. This is just my experience coming off the pill. If you have an IUD, it's gonna probably be a lot different. If you have like the thing in your arm or the shot or the patch or all the different kinds of birth control out there and you wanna come off of them, it's probably gonna be different. I mean, coming off of different kinds of pills is probably gonna be so different. So I don't know if there's a way to do it without side effects, but like I said, I would just talk to your doctor about that. Okay, and that concludes today's video. If there is anything else you guys want to know, any other questions, if this brought up anything, leave me a comment. If you don't feel comfortable leaving me a comment on YouTube, go ahead and DM me at share.gets.fit on Instagram. I'll respond to your DMs there, answer any questions you have. If I can like send you screenshots of the app or anything to help make this a little bit more or a little bit less confusing, please let me know. I do have a affiliate link and code with Natural Cycles, so if you go through the link in my bio on Instagram, use the code Sheridan, just my name, it will get you, I believe, a free thermometer and I want to say like 20% off a yearly subscription. So it is a subscription based app. I do the yearly one, which I think it's like 90 bucks a year, or you can pay like a certain amount every month or like every 3 months. They have different plans. Seems kind of expensive because the pill, at least for me, was covered by my insurance, But if you are making the decision to come off birth control, I was spending way more than $90 a year on condoms. So while you still use condoms on your red days, having all of those green days, it definitely evens itself out from all the condoms, plan B, what the heck ever that you were needing to buy, to just now having this app and needing, you know, a pack of condoms every couple months or so. So yeah, thanks again for tuning in, and I will catch you guys in the next video.